and welcome to 3Q the Artist. I'm your host, Rachel Vogel, and joining me for tonight's episode is the one and only singer-songwriter Abe Parker. So, Abe, welcome to the podcast. How's it going? How are you?
That's great. Thanks so much for having me on. Yeah, things are going great here. We're just chilling and enjoying the spring weather here in Atlanta.
Let's keep the good vibes going. Are you ready for your first question?
Let's do it.
I've heard many artists say, I am my music and my music is me. So, what does that statement mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that's very true. Being an artist is different than like being an actor or being in some of the other entertainment area because, as an actor, you play somebody else. You put on a different persona, put on a different thing, and then you take it back off. You put it on, take it off. Whereas an artist, it's kind of like you're yourself. You're like what you're selling is yourself. You're selling your own story. You're selling your own personality, character. So that comes with different, I don't know, different feelings. To me, that makes being a musician so much harder because, like, if you fail as a musician, you feel like you failed as a person. Like, where if like you fail as a shoe seller, then you failed as a shoe seller, but you're not necessarily like as a person. So, and it's not totally true. Like there's definitely parts of being an artist where it's not all your identity.
Well, before we jump into the next main question, I was reading through your bio that your team sent me, and there was one line that really stood out about how you are an artist that can kind of reach through the noise of digital technology and really form human connection on the other end of it. So I'm curious, what's your take on the world of virality and social media in music right now? And how do you think that you've been able to kind of break through that wall?
Yeah, it's a crazy world. It's like it's scary and crazy and challenging, but it's also like really, really cool where there's just so many more opportunities. As if you're a hard worker and you're willing to put in the time, then yeah. So I guess I got my start. 2020 happened, and I couldn't go touring. Like I couldn't go out. I was stuck in the house, and like most people, are like I'm gonna make a TikTok. So I started doing TikToks in 2020 and really started to just dive into that. And it took a long time. Like it was really difficult for a long time. No traction, just like 200 views, 300 views, 200 views, just like very consistently bad for a long time. Yeah. I think maybe 6 months to 8 months in, I started doing covers, but I wanted to make sure that I did rewrite covers. So instead of just like covering a popular song, I would write my own verse to it and make content about that. So that way, it would get some traction because the song was going viral. But then also, I didn't want people to think of me just as like a cover musician. I wanted people to know that I was a writer and an artist. And I think that's how I started to really kind of form connection with people, is just through like kind of like expressing you know, it was really fun because like you can take a song that you love and you can write a verse, your own verse about it in the way that that song makes you specifically feel. Because everyone feels songs differently, and I don't know. I guess a lot of the lyrics that I was writing really connected with people. Um, in other ways, as far as just connecting with people, I think it's really easy just to have like a viral moment. Like you could, I don't know, take your pants off and go run through a Starbucks and get a bunch of views. But that's not necessarily like building a relationship with fans and stuff. So I really wanted to be intentional about just like building a conversation. Like doing a lot of things. So I try to respond to every DM that I get. That's not a guaranteed. So if you DM me and I don't DM you back for like 2 weeks, I don't hate you. It took a while to get to it. So, I try to do that. And yeah, like to be totally honest, I'm just like totally honored that people would listen to my music. Like the fact that I get to wake up and do this every day is still like, I just can't believe I get to do it. And I'm very lucky, very thankful for all the people, um, all over the world actually that are listening to the music, which also blows me away. So, I think it's hard to get past that. Like, if you have one viral moment, it's hard to get past that. But I've been very grateful to. I haven't had one song that's like done crazy big, but most of my songs do fairly well. And to
They're
me,
doing
that's
pretty
a
good.
bigger, yeah, yeah, that's a bigger win. Like knowing that like you're reaching people as opposed to like you just the algorithm picked up your song randomly and uh yeah, sorry, I was just rambling there, but I hope that answers the question.
It does, yeah. And I feel like that is how you sustain it. Like it isn't sustainable just to have a viral moment and capitalize on that every time. You need to have authenticity and just continue to keep the
Yeah.
consistency. It's slow growth is the best growth. I stand by it.
I think so too. Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of ways I think I can do better. There's a David Kushner I think is a great example. Alex Warren is another great example where they've got banger songs. Like their songs are awesome and they've got crazy viral. Like the algorithm just loves them, but they're also very personal and like they're very like you just feel like you can have a connection with them as opposed to you know I think the real struggle as a artist, if you're able to go viral, is to have all the people that know the song know your name as well. I just went on the road and that was an interesting thing. I was opening for another band, and they were like, "Oh, whoa! I didn't realize that was you. Like I knew three of your songs, but I didn't know who you were." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's what I got to work on." It's like connecting with people.
Well, you're doing a great job. All right, next
Thanks.
question. Every industry has its hidden truths. Those can be both good and bad. So, what's one secret about the music industry that most people might not know?
First of all, the music industry is really small. That's one thing that was kind of surprising to me. It's like even though it seems humongous, like everybody kind of know. Like once you get to a certain echelon, everybody kind of knows each other, which is a good and bad thing. Like I feel like people in the music industry, like if you treat somebody badly, um, other people are going to know about it, and that's kind of a good thing because it kind of it's like a fail safe. There's a lot of sharks out there. There's a lot of guys that'll just take advantage of you, um, but generally speaking, those people start to get a name for themselves pretty quickly, and so that's good. So be nice to people. Um, and along with the be nice to people, like also be nice to people that are on the way up, like people that are just starting, because you never know what's going to happen. Case in point, um, 3 years ago, a guy called me and was like, "Hey, I've got this song. It's starting to go viral on TikTok. Would you want to produce it for me?" And I said, "Yeah." And he didn't have much of a budget at the time, and I was like, "You know what? I'll just make it happen." Um, Sorry, 1 second.
You're all
Here
good.
you go. Like I said, I'm on dad duty. So to continue the story, the guy hit me up and was like, "Hey, can you produce this?" Didn't have a lot, and I was like, "Sure, let's do it." And that guy was David Kushner, and the song was his first single. So, that song just blew up that we did together. And then, a little while later, he did a song called Daylight, and that one really just took him globally. So you just never know, like who is going to go somewhere and do something. So just be nice to everybody. Like you gotta be like defensive and like make sure that you're not dealing with a shark and someone's going to take advantage of you. But then also like just be a good person and um, yeah, that's that. I feel like that was probably the biggest industry secret is just like be nice to people.
Final question. As you look to the later years of your life, imagine being interviewed about your career and your life. What would you hope to be able to say about each?
About my career and life. Dang. Uh, I mean, as far as music goes, like I want to create real emotional connections with people through music. That's kind of the biggest thing. Um, just like knowing, like, I think the biggest compliment for me as a musician is when someone says, "I've always felt that way, but I never knew how to say it, or I never knew how to express it or feel it." Um, I had a song that was about social anxiety, and that was something for me that I never like. I didn't even know was a thing in college, and I just remember like getting really stressed out at like parties and stuff. And I was like, am I weird? Like, what's going on? And, it's something I've worked through and overcome over time, but I wrote a song about that. And there's just so many people that kind of connected to that as well, especially during COVID when everyone was like stuck inside and all kinds of crazy things happen to your brain when you don't get to talk with people or see people. So that's one thing I really hope for. And I mean, and the other side is like I just want to like be able to help as many people as I can. Like I want to have a great business and make lots of money so I can give lots of money away and help people. I'm a firm believer in like I think I think the individual is what makes the change and like politics are crazy and stupid and ridiculous, but like if you want to see anything done, like just like do it yourself. Like start like find the problem and figure out what you can do. And if everybody had that attitude, I think then we'd solve a lot more problems.
Totally, yeah. If you could go back to yourself just starting out and you could just like grab yourself and shake yourself, what's one thing that you would tell him at that point in time that you know now?
I did things the wrong way. Like I'm from Ohio and I moved to Atlanta. Just like didn't know anybody. I like lived out of my car for a long time. I played on the street just for quarters and stupid stuff. I wish I'd have gotten a job. I wish I'd have just like gotten some kind of job. And then the other thing is like the biggest piece of advice that's helped me the most is like pick pick one or two things to get really good at and forget about everything else. Like let everything fall through the cracks. But just be really good at one or two things. Like you kind of can't be good, like really good at more than that. And if you get really good at, like, say you want to be a good singer, that's your one thing, and then your other thing is you want to be a great producer. Okay, that's it. You don't get any more. Don't try to be a songwriter. Don't try to be, a great crazy guitar player. Like just focus on those two things. And it's crazy how like once one thing pops off, say if you're a great singer and someone adds you to like a tour or something like that, boom, like all those other things fill in the blanks. You've got songwriters that are wanting to write with you, and you've got all kinds of other stuff going on. So I hope that helps. I tend to ramble, like I said, but I think that's what I tell myself.
Yeah, I think that's really great advice. Well, before we close it out, anything exciting coming up that you want to share? Any new music, any tour dates? Drop it now.
I just dropped a song a couple weeks ago that's doing really well. I'm really excited about. It's called Forever in a Day. And then, yeah, I'm going to be working on this whole time. I'm working on an album that I'm really excited about because it's like a yin and yang kind of album where like half of it's going to be really dark and moody and depressing and amazing, and then the other half is going to be like positive. And that's the journey I've been on in the past year, is just like dealing with a lot of actually physical pain. I've had some health complications and stuff like that where it's just been pretty excruciating, and dealing with that and accepting the pain and being like, okay, this hurts, this sucks, I gotta like grieve, I gotta like work through this. And then once you do that, making the 180 and say, you know what, I can't dwell on it, and I want to focus on what I can do to think about the positives and what I can do. So it might be kind of a weird album. I've never seen anything like this, but I'm really excited because it's like gloomy, moody, dark. Work through it, hard, hard, hard. Life is great. I'm going to focus on the positives, even though it's could be hard. So I'm excited about that. That'll be probably in the fall or something like that. We'll drop the album.
That's awesome. Well, we have reached the end of the episode, but Abe, thanks again for joining me on the podcast. Pleasure to have you on.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, and thanks for putting up with our little sidekick here.